Hello, welcome to Cosmic Love Tarot. I haven't been on for over a week. The reason was I work with energy, so when energy starts to affect me, I will pull back from my readings. So if you start following me, you will realise that when I'm pulling back, I'm gathering whatever information my guides want me or drawing me towards, understanding whatever is going on for the collective. And then I find all this information and then I bring it back for my readings. So, okay, so the reading, I've got a lot of paperwork, so I have wrote down quite a few things and it's quite interesting. But prior to me writing down this information that I got from my guides, and also with me looking it all up just to double check, because I don't know all the answers at all. I only know my present moment of whatever it is that I'm learning. And last week I felt absolutely lethargic, absolutely tired out, wiped out. I know a few people felt like that, and you might have already experienced that or experiencing that now, feeling absolutely tired out, sickness. Anyway, so what I did through that week, for the first few days, all I did was just sleep. And since the weekend, I started to feel slightly better, and it was mainly after the 22nd. Or from the 22nd, but what happened on the 22nd, which was also the autumn equinox, all my readings will coincide with my past readings, so you can check them all out. So what I got, my guides will lead me to a particular post. The Octorians will do that because they will work through technology. So they will lead you to a particular song for a particular word, or a meaning to the song, or a particular post, or a film. It could be absolutely anything. And if you are experiencing that, then start writing it down, because it will start forming a picture of what your messages are, okay? I go with all my messages now, and I always used to keep them to myself, but I'm choosing now to start sharing them. My cards will then confirm with what I've already said, okay? And that's the way I work. So, the song I got first, and this was on the 22nd, was Forever Young. And it kept coming into my head. I kept singing it in my head, and I hadn't heard it for absolutely years. So I checked out the words, ready for this reading, and we will see how it coincides with whatever comes out with cards. Okay, so the song, I will read it out to you, because it's quite significant really. The words is, let's dance in style, let's dance for a while, Evan can wait, we're only watching the skies, hoping for the best but expecting the worst. Are you going to drop the bomb or not? Let us die young or let us live forever. We don't have the power, but we never say never. Sitting in a sandpit, life is a short trip. The music's for the sad men. Can you imagine when this race is won? Turn our golden faces into the sun. Praising our leaders, we're getting in tune. The music's played by the madman. Okay? Forever young. Do you really want to live forever? Forever and ever. Okay, now when I first got this song on the 22nd, the first thing that came to my mind was vampires. Energy vampires. And then I got drawn to watching on Netflix Van Helsing. Now, I don't normally watch these kind of films, but I did. I watched it all. I think I've got about four episodes left on the last season. I think it was season 5. And so I've watched it all. It's all to do with history. Well, it's to do with a storyline actually, but everything on TV, every film on Netflix, there is truths in it if you really want to look at it. And I found it quite interesting because I analysed everything, and it was showing me where it was to do with the bloodlines being altered, the DNA being changed. We are in a spiritual war, which I'm aware of, and it is to do with the Draconians as well as it's to do with Jesus' bloodline. So it's to do with the two opposing forces. I've mentioned this before. And so the Van Helsing that I've been watching, it also was showing about the fear base. The fear base in 3D, where it's to do with the energy vampires. Now, when your energy is in a lower vibe energy, you only work from that energy field, that frequency, and that is what you attract into your life. When you ascend and you start working with your energy, you're only integrating the higher vibration. Lower vibrations, like the energy vampires, can't drain you. They can't take your life force away. And that Van Helsing was actually showing me this, and it was also showing that it was about accepting your life experiences. I'm not saying that, you know, that it was deserved, that you deserve it, because we've all gone through hell and back. It's about finding some form of forgiveness of yourself, for putting yourself through different situations for a number of reasons. We've all been there. I can only interpret what I'm getting, okay? So the film is really based on integrating your own shadow within the conscious, and or making the shadow conscious. I've mentioned it many times before in my readings, and that film, or shall I say that series, is really based on that. It's based on your own shadow self, because the more that you have faith in God, have faith in humanity, nothing can harm you. So this is the reason why I've been watching that, as well as feeling quite lethargic and tired, not being sure when I was going to start my readings again. At the same time, I was also drawn to start listening to the Book of Enoch, so I downloaded Audible on my phone. I'd already started listening to the Bible again. I used to kind of read it, but this time I started listening to it, which was a couple of months ago, and then I stopped listening because there was so many things in there that I never saw before, but I don't need to go into that right now. But I'm now listening to the Book of Enoch. There was a reason for it. At the moment, I haven't quite connected what I've read so far with Enoch, but the Book of Enoch, the one I'm reading, is to do with angels, demons, and watchers, okay? These energies is also been about my own experiences over the last 15 years. And I'm here to actually understand myself, and I'm part of the collective. But it also really represents also the insights to the storyline to Van Helsing, which is quite interesting. So I just thought I'd just share that with you all. And because it's all going to coincide with the song at some point. And today I got drawn to understanding that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 6 planets in retrograde now. I didn't know that. I knew that it was all lined up when we were going through the Lionsgate portal, the 8/8 Lionsgate portal. But now we're all in retrograde, and this really makes sense with how I've been feeling. And you possibly could also have felt these physical symptoms, but also at the same time you're experiencing feeling more spiritually aware, being more spiritually aware of your own abilities to what you was aware of before. It feels as if they are becoming more heightened, whilst at the same time you're looking into your own shadow self, reflecting back at something or situations from the past, recognizing how far you've come, seeing what you've also learned through your experiences, finding forgiveness in those experiences. All this still coincides with the storyline to Van Helsing as well. It's quite interesting what I've discovered. So I wrote everything down for you. So Pluto is in retrograde up until October the 11th. And this is the Scorpio energy, and it's all based on shadow and rebirth. So when it's in retrograde, you've been reflecting back at the shadow and finding peace with it, peace with the past, okay? For your new beginning. This is what you're going to be bringing forward after the retrogrades finish, okay? Saturn is in retrograde, and this Saturn is a very powerful energy, and this is all to do with karma anyway, but it's to do with your achievements. It's a zodiac sign of Capricorn. Retrograde is until November the 15th, okay? And so it's about recognising what didn't work for you over the last, I think it's 27 years, and what it is that you want to achieve now, and put everything back into place. It can be the same thing that you've wanted to do before, but it didn't work, but it's doing it now from a different perspective, looking at something from a different perspective. So this is what Saturn retrograde is doing, the energy. We've also got Neptune in retrograde up until December the 7th. This is Pisces. And this is all to do with your inspirations and your oneness. So it's about you integrating whatever you've learned from the past, found inspirations from that experience to gather within the whole, the oneness of self. Okay. Chiron is in retrograde up until December the 29th. Chiron heals old wounds, and that represents Aries, and Aries is the fire sign. Aries has been playing a big part on Scorpio over the last, I would say, month, as well as Capricorn as well. Has been playing a really big energy shifts. So Chiron is to do with healing the wounds, okay? Uranus in retrograde up until January the 30th. So that's in that's with us for longer. But this is to do with liberation and awakening. So it's playing a really significant part. And this is the zodiac sign in Aquarius. Aquarius is played throughout. If you go back to any of my readings, Aquarius played a massive part where it was to do with Sirius and the 3 stars, which I did mention. So that's to do with liberation and awakening. Jupiter in retrograde up until February the 4th. So those 2 are the longest that's around us. And it's to do with truth and expansion. And that is the zodiac sign of Sagittarius. Okay. So not only have we been reflecting, we're also bringing it forward, healing the wounds because we're accepting it, making peace with it, forgiving ourselves through the experience and what part we contributed to it. And we are now healing those wounds, those old wounds, because we are finding truth, and truth belongs God's truth, okay? And it represents expansion, expanding your awareness of what you've learned about yourself, okay? Mercury in retrograde doesn't come in until November, okay? So that comes in November, December. I will be doing readings on that. And Mars, which is also at Aries, will be coming in December up until February. So those energies can be quite interesting, which, like I said, I'll do a reading. Okay, so with that, everything will all make sense as well. It's really interesting what I found. So, okay, so while they are in retrograde, I did find actually that it does say of these planets, when any planet is in retrograde, it's best not to start anything new, even though we are coming into our new beginning. Everything that's been happening since the Lionsgate portal is about our new beginning, but we still have to go through that transition. We've gone through a lot of activations or accessing the DNA activation, but we're still going through that process. It's not a very quick process. It goes through different, what's the word? Yeah, different processes. Our body has to adjust to it. So the advice would be not to start anything while we're in the retrograde. Don't make any sudden changes or don't make any sudden decisions to do something, okay? Wait till the retrograde's over with and then make it. It's like, I did mention the seasons when I was on about cycles. We're coming into the winter, we're in autumn, we're coming into winter. So just process your time of stillness. That's the energy I'm picking up for the collective. To reflect. That's the energy. I did get the words. It's time for stillness, reflection, and inward contemplation. And that's a great time to do it. Of releasing now in this cycle, ready for the next cycle of reflection and contemplation, okay? So once these planets have gone through its retrogrades, that's when it's time to come into your new alignment within yourselves and to bring clearer clarity for your new direction, okay? So I'm just turning my music down a little bit. What else was there? Okay, so since the Lionsgate portal, which I've just mentioned, and we went through that cosmic gateway activation. Now, the activation, the gateway activation, is about the energies as a collective was affecting our DNA. It's to affect our DNA to a higher frequency. And when our frequencies are being heightened, It's a very powerful cosmic shift, and this shift will also affect us physically, not only spiritually but also physically, because our physical bodies needs to shift its vibration. Okay, so there'll be a lot of things physically that has been affecting you, and this shift happened after the Lionsgate portal, and the activation really happened around the 27th of April. And so you would have been experiencing a lot of spiritual heightened awareness at the same time, reflecting back at shadow self as well. We're also having massive solar flares, so that also be shifting her conscious awareness. The body is going through a massive upgrade. I did mention in one of my readings, I got really drawn to mentioning water, drinking loads of water, and I did also mention minerals. It's becoming quite important now. Even I'm going to get some minerals because it's for me too. You can look on Amazon and they sell drops of minerals for you to put drops into your water and drink as much water. Your body can be changing to your eating habits where you're eating less, or craving for certain foods. My body seems to be not really taking in meat like I used to. I'm not saying I'm a vegetarian at all, but something in me is not is kind of rejecting it. And then after, when I've watched Van Helsing with the vampires and what are the others? They're like soulless dead beings. I mean, that's always been in my dream state since I was a kid, but it's all strange that everything seems to be more acknowledged about what's happening in the world today. Strangely enough, also that series also brought in where they became the president, these vampires. And I thought, yeah, okay. I won't mention too much on that, but anyway, I can see certain things that goes on in the world today and why it's happening, and it's all to do with the spiritual war, which we've got to go through, which we're going through. Anyway, going back to the body. So the body is only accepting what it is needed, and you can be getting drawn to certain things, to eat certain things. It could be vegetables, it could be certain fruits, it could be certain things to help you for your body to adjust to this frequency. So minerals seems to be quite important right now. You could also be suffering sleeplessness, sickness, tiredness. This is all part of this DNA upgrades. This is the experience I experienced last week. It was really weird. Sweats. I've always suffered sweats. I do feel now, I've been told today, sweats is also to do with releasing toxins, and that I'm in a bit of a catch really, because I have a sweet tooth, so I can eat junk food when I should be resting. So when I'm eating my junk food, it's also being forced out of my body, as in go to the toilet, or it's happening through sweats. Okay, so your body is adjusting to the frequency that is naturally happening anyway. I just wanted to mention that. So we are going through a quantum DNA. It's a quantum DNA activation, and it's to do with the wave of love, from fear to love, from 3D to 5D consciousness. I feel like I'm talking a lot, but I just needed to. So, the other thing that I got drawn to was a post that I saved on my phone. Even my posts that I save on my phone would be at the right post at a particular time when I'm going to be working with something, okay? This post I saved weeks and weeks ago, and it was a post that said, thousands of years before the Bible. This is what it says. The kingdom of heaven is within you, and whosoever shall know himself shall find it. And it's the book of the dead. Okay. Now, when I found this and I saved it to my phone for whatever reason I saved it for, I remember waking up saying in my head, for the grace of God, I command you leave my body now. And it was to do with darker demon spirits that will keep on trying to attack the spiritual light workers, even through dream states. So even though now, if you are experiencing any tiredness, sleep. Because it's through your sleep you are still protected. But it's through your sleep that your body is adjusting as well. Okay. Wow. This has been such a lot. I've been still and quiet over the last, I don't know, maybe 7 days. Okay. So, now that's all said. Okay. These are the cards that I want to pick first for the collective. I never know what cards I'm going to go to, so I'll just trust in the divine to lead me to the right cards to help the collective to understand, get more clarity on what's going on around them right now, what is needed right now. This is going to be what is needed right now for the collective. What is needed right now, what is needed to know for the collective right now. Grieving art. Open doors to something new. Okay. That feels like it's clarified what I've just said about the planets being in retrograde. Healing the past. Releasing and letting go. You could have also experienced physical grief of losing somebody that you've loved. So my condolences for that. It's also grieving of the past, grieving of the past childhood. It's all to do with releasing traumas from childhood woundings. And because it's all to do with releasing the fear and to open up the cosmic heart. This is where we're all being led to for the collective. Okay, so this card for the collective is about your grieving heart and to open the doors to something new for your new beginning. Okay. No, it only needed one card. Okay, underneath the deck. Oh wow, divinely connected art. I'm going to keep that. That's beautiful. That's just confirmed it. Divinely connected art. Meet your karma. This is your good karma. For you to be here at this video, this is for you. Because you've done your healing. You've done your work. This is also to do with Saturn and everything that you've gone through over the last 27 years. You've worked through it. You've understood it. You've learned it. You've released it. You've forgiven it and you've released it. It still goes back to that film, Van Helsing. It's still the same energy to me. And you have divine intervention helping you to start your new beginning. But first, it's still to do with contemplating. What was that word again? And I circled it so I don't forget it. Time for stillness. Time for stillness and reflection and inward contemplation. Okay? And with this journey, you have divine connections who is helping you to heal those past wounds, to release them, and to activate the DNA upgrades which will be happening after the retrogrades is finished. This is all in divine timing. This is the faith in God that everything happens when it's meant to have happened. This year alone, when I wrote this information, I wrote it on the other side, which I found by chance, which I wrote in one of my readings, and it was about 2024. And I wrote on this piece, meanings, self-discovery, mental well-being, personal growth, balancing spiritual and material aspects, and infusing confidence. It's all to do with, this year is all to do with new beginnings, great rewards, and learning to create balance in your life, not following what is outside, to listen to what is inside. And that is what this divine connection is to help you, to help the collective in 2024. This massive awakening since 2020 is to expose the energy vampires. Okay. Just like Van Helsing. Very interesting, isn't it? We are also in the year of the dragon. They've mentioned the dragon in that film. And it's all to do with authority and prosperity. It's also to do with the year of karma. Okay. And it's the number 8, which is the most karmic. It signifies transformation, death, and rebirth. How beautiful is that? How beautiful is that? You're on the right path. For you to be drawn to this video, you are on your right path, and this is your confirmation. Okay? I'm going to, for the divine feminine, so I want to see what the divine feminine is working with you right now. Okay? For the collective, what divine feminine is working for the collective to help them, to help the divine feminines to access their own power, their own awareness. The Queen of Heaven and Earth, I have nothing to hide. I see and accept all that I am. Wow. That still goes back to what I've been watching, what the planets are in line to be doing for you. Everything is happening how it's meant to happen. However you feel today, rest assured that this video has come to you for a reason, just to bring you confirmation and clarification that everything is happening how it's meant to be happening. Okay? It's about faith, having faith in the divine, having faith in God, that everything is happening how it's meant to be happening. I'm going to read from that for you. That's beautiful. Heaven and earth, I have nothing to hide. When you work through your shadow self and you accept who you are and love yourself unconditionally through through what even your own shadow self is lovable, because it's part of who you are. It's only through the darkness that you learnt about your lies. Okay. And by accepting the darkness within you, then you have no fear. You have no fear of death. You have no fear of what's going on in the world today, because you starting to trust in the divine, and you are starting to trust and have faith that everything will unfold at the right timing. We are shifting from fear-based to love. Okay, this is what it's all about, from 3D Earth, what's going on in the earth today, to heaven. Okay, let's see what else we need to know. My lighting isn't the best. Sorry. Okay. Inanna goes into the depths of her own unconscious to merge with her twin sister self. She becomes more powerful because she is no longer using conscious psychic energy to keep her shadow or negative attributes hidden deep underground. She courageously descends and faces the aspects of herself that are hard to get to when she's fully dressed or cloaked heavenly in the ego. Enya is an invention to get naked. She wants us to drop our defences. She wants us to see how holy and sacred it is to be vulnerable. As above, so below. This is a alchemy that suggests heaven and earth are not so separate. It suggests that within us, deep down in the dark cages where we place parts of ourselves, the truths that exist there also exists right here on the surface of our everyday lives. So if we are exerting great amounts of energy to keep from seeing our shadow, it is actually playing a large role in our conscious life. When we can face what we think is dark or negative about us, I mean really embrace it and see it for what it is, a beautiful broken place that's a call for love. Then we can emerge more whole. We can marry the light and dark aspects of our being, and in uniting with our twin sister from the depths, we can stop projecting her into other women. We can see and own the hot mess we often are and not get sabotaged by it. This is so amazing. Last night, I went to bed quite late last night, so I knew I wasn't working today. And it was to do with Vanessa. Vanessa was one of the twin sisters that was biologically created in the lab, basically, by the darker forces, because they wanted, it's all to do with the DNA bloodline, to transmute it into vampirism, if that's the right word. And Vanessa, she was very powerful, and she wanted to, at the end, she wanted to be good. And the only way that she could really become empowered and to disperse the devil, to disperse Satan, is to integrate her other half of herself, which was the shadow demon self, okay? And the only way that she was able to really integrate her shadow self, she went into, which would be our interpretation of the dark night of the soul. And so she had to go into, or Satan dragged her into the dark night of the soul, where she was forced into reenacting the same traumas over and over and over and over. She was caught up in her own pattern. She was caught up in her own trap, and she couldn't escape it. And the only way she could escape it, until she finally started to see she was caught up in her own trap, what she created out of fear. Fear of the darkness, okay? But recognizing that she also was the darkness too. That's really interesting. So this is what this reminded me of when I was just reading this. So we can see, let me just read that little bit again because it reminded me. We can marry the light and the dark aspects of our being, and in uniting with our twin sister from the depths, we can stop projecting her into other women. We can see and own the hot mess we often are and not get sabotaged by it. The light must cast a shadow, and the higher priestess is the one who gets called to love them both. So as a high priestess, you have to integrate both dualities of the light and dark aspects of the self to become the divine feminine, okay? It will also help you to understand that all of the people that has hated you, has been jealous on you, cursed you, betrayed you, backstabbed you, as is also parts or different aspects of your own shadow self. And the more you start to look at it, the more you can release the pain that it created on you. Because don't forget, these energy vampires will keep you in that lower energy. And the only way to keep you in that lower energy is when you hold on to past hurts. Okay? So the more that you start to see that your experience happened for a reason, not to you, but for you to extend your awareness to the divine of integrating both aspects, loving both aspects of yourself. So the more you look within, the more that you can see outside of you, that everybody outside of you is also you. Everything. Even a tarot card reader, same as myself, a tarot card reader, cannot read themselves, but they can read themselves through their own reading when they do it for the collective, because they're not putting in their own emotions. And this resonates with me completely, because I know I've been there. I've integrated my shadow, and that's why I got drawn to the film of Van Helsing. Well, it's not a film, it's a 5 seasons it is, on Netflix. It's an old one, I think, but I've never been drawn to him before. But it's all representing the energy to it, and I haven't watched the last. I've only got to, I think I've got about 4 more episodes, which is quite interesting. I might watch them later, because this reading, it's took me right up to when Vanessa integrates both aspects of herself. And that's what Ayana, the Queen of Heaven and Earth. God, how beautiful is that? And I got as far as that, and then I went to bed, so I haven't watched any more. So I'm glad I decided to do this reading. So thank you, Divine, for helping me. Because I've been feeling quite lethargic. It's because I'm going through an upgrade. Okay, so let's see. Let's see now what else is needed now for your upgrade. You got the love. Underneath the deck. Okay, longing for home, homesick for the stars. And you got the love. Codependency and boundaries. Can you see how the polar opposites are there? You've got, that's interesting as well. You've got, it feels like that, even that is the polar opposite. So this is about chaos. Yeah, I've mentioned that in my readings. It's recognising all those different aspects of your own personality. Out of chaos comes, what is it again? Out of chaos comes order. So what was once codependent is now independent and longing for home. I want to read those. Okay, you got the love. This is what the Divine wants you to know. You have the love. Make sure I've got the right book, yeah. You got the love. 1, 2, 8. Okay. The Octorians are believed to be beacons of pure divine, unconditional love, who see love in all people and situations. As a result, they can find it hard to have bounded, independent, healthy relationships because they only see the unconditional nature of those they meet. The lovers of the cosmos, they dive in fast. Wow. This was one of the readings. This was to do with coming from the 3-star system I've mentioned in one of my readings, and that was to do with the Lionsgate portal. Souls that chose to come onto the earth plane, they come with the unconditional love, and so through their own soul journey was to show their light in the darkness, exactly the same as Van Helsing, to shed their light and to kill the darkness. Darkness cannot stay dark when the light is shown on it. Wow, that's so interesting. Okay, let's get back to this reading. The lovers of the cosmos, they dive in fast. They're here to learn how to love while in a separate body, to learn to love self first and then establish healthy relationships with others, to remember that love they seek is already within them, that they truly do have the love all on their own. The message of this card is to review the ways that you may need to establish healthier boundaries. Perhaps you're in a codependent relationship in which you may be losing your sense of self. It's common for starseeds to dive deep into relationships, particularly with those who feel safe and familiar at a soul level. Perhaps you're in a relationship in which you give more than you receive, or perhaps there's a certain voluntary, I think that says, to it, and you're always unsure where you stand. This card is assigned to do a relationship review and to see what energetic agreements you made, consciously or unconsciously. To acknowledge if there are relationships in which you feel anxious or powerless, in which you don't feel like it's safe to relax and just be you. To assess if there are any places of inadequacy that you're used a relationship to soothe and cover. This really does represent in Van Helsing, where, like I said, when Vanessa had to go into the dark night of the soul and really understand her own shadow self, and to look to, because it's all to do with reflecting back at past trauma and why that trauma was created through codependency. It's trauma bonding, because your heart is so loving and so giving. Through that love, it also created traumas to keep you stuck. It's like the energy vampires in Van Helsing, keeping your energy on a low vibration when it was meant to be awakened in 2020. So 2024, like I said, was for, let me just get that paper. It was for your new beginning and to learning to create a balance in your life and not follow what is outside, to listen to what is inside. Okay. Oh, I've got the boobs. Okay, so this card is assigned to do a relationship review and to see what energetic agreements you've made, consciously or unconsciously. So it's asking you right now to start in your contemplation mode through autumn and also winter time, to contemplate on the relationship you have or people that is around you. What are they teaching you? And are there different aspects, whatever is projected out? You've got hurt because they've projected their own inner woundings onto you. But it now is about you understanding what did you project out that was also belonging to you, because you are the High Priestess. So whatever darkness that you saw in others, it's recognising that darkness also belongs to you. And past lives, because you are the High Priestess. And through the energies of the High Priestess is to help others by shedding your light onto other people's darkness. Could be a healer. And that is your path to heal others. Okay. And the outcome to that is, what's that? Erith. This is a great reading. Thank you, Divine. Okay. Okay, Erith is a Welsh word that's difficult to translate. Doesn't matter if I got it wrong anyway, I can never pronounce words. I'm sure somebody will correct me. Oh dear. Difficult to translate, but it refers to a certain longing or homesickness, a yearning for a home or a place to which we cannot return. This unexplainable, unshakable longing for home is common for starseeds and old souls. Perhaps you've had it since birth. For some, it's a distant memory of a planet, a galaxy, or a star system in the universe that their soul remembers and yearns to return to, a place they may have experienced more than Earth. For others, it's a longing for the unity of Source, a remembering of interconnected oneness. This yearning can lead some starseeds to travel, searching all corners of the planet, to find a physical place that feels more like home. For others, it can manifest as a need to find home in people, communities, and relationships. A journey to find somewhere they truly belong. If you resonate with this yearning for home, but don't really know where home is, you're being invited to remember that your soul chose to be here on earth. You're being called to fully commit to embodying your life. You're being assured that you didn't come here alone, and that your soul consciously decided to experience what it's like to be a soul in a human body on this planet at this time. You're being called to anchor all of your presence, your personality, your soul, and your spirit in the here and now, to fully commit to living this life right now, to commit to putting 2 feet completely in. How can you commit more fully to your life? And the only way that you can fully commit is to fully accept who you are. And underneath the deck, trust in divine timing. Can you see the different timelines of shifting when it's meant to shift? It's all happening how it's meant to happen. So release the fear, release the past woundings, and integrate who you truly are. You are of light, but also recognise that you are also shadow. Okay, I'll leave that there because I think that was a beautiful, beautiful reading. And I'll leave that there. Thank you so much for joining me, and God bless.